we're going to implement drag and drop, right? As you can see, the grip icon is showing up when we hover over each item, right? So we can just swap the order on multi-axis, right? You can swap it on x-axis and the y-axis, or multi-axis based on your needs, right? This is what we're going to implement. Do not forget to like and subscribe if you think this type of content is helpful, okay? Let's have fun. All right, now let's go ahead and implement drag and drop. So sometimes the user may want to reorder these images, right? We already have a drag and drop right here. This technically reorder, right? But this one, the tool that we are currently using is motion reorder. So let's go to code base and then quickly check. So it should be reorder something, section item reorder. The problem with this one is it doesn't support the multi-axis. It only provides either X or Y axis. In our cursor grid here, we sometimes have more than one row, right? So if we add one more image as an example, copy image address right here. Let's quickly test it. So as you can see, we can have two different rows, right? Maybe three, maybe four, right? So the motion reorder feature will not gonna work, okay? So that's why I tried to look for another tool called DND Kit, okay? So DND Kit. So this tool is pretty amazing in my opinion. You can drag and drop anywhere. And then it also has preset sortable. Sortable is pretty much the same as reorder in the motion, but with the DND kit, it can handle multi-axis. And it has all the documentation. You just need to copy paste most of the time, right? So let's try to install, right? So here, I'm gonna just do quick installation. I'll be copy pasting this one because I'm gonna install both. Copy paste. And then let's go to code base. Just install. Oh, what happened? In the case, let's remove next. Okay, it's working. Awesome. So now we have a package installed. So then what it means, we can start to using it. So based on the documentation, you have a quick start to do drag and drop, but I'll be just jumping into sortable directly, okay? So here in sortable, you have all the thing that is necessary. I'll be creating, this component that is called the sortable. It's just mostly copy paste, okay? So sortable, I'm gonna create that. You can create your own reorder components, okay? So here I can just say sortable, okay? Sortable.tsx, and then I'll be having the sortable, but of course I'm gonna create the props, but in this file I'm gonna create sortable list and the sortable item. So I'm gonna just name a little bit better, sortable item props. And then in here, I'm gonna have children, that is React node, okay? And then we just have a children to be rendered here. That's it, right? And at the same time, this use a sortable hook that provides all different tools that we will need in the future, okay? So to do that, I'm going to just do this way. So use a sortable. It's gonna be arguments, right? So I'll be accepting arguments as well. Arguments. So just getting all the power that is from sortable here. So I think this guy. So here I'm gonna say rest, and then passing all the rest stuff to here. Okay, awesome. Sortable item, and then we also need TSR FSC. This one will be sortable list. Okay. Exactly the same thing. We're gonna have children, and then let's rename it SortableList props. Change it children. But in here, we need to have a little bit more stuff. If you go to the documentation, your sortable needed to have, I'm not gonna worry about the sensors because it's optional. What I would do is just copy pasting them for now, okay? So here, copy paste. And then, let me just try to do that here. Yeah, let's do return. And this item mapping, I'm going to make it as children, okay? So the mapping, we're gonna do it outside, okay? So here, children, then what it means we don't need this. Yeah, so we have sensor and then collision detection. These two are not necessary. Let's not worry too much at this point, okay? So here, strategy is important thing. What it's saying is we are gonna support the vertical sorting only, but I want to support rectangle, sorting strategy. So what it means, you can do vertically and horizontally based on your needs, okay? And then at the same time, I'll be accepting some the items, okay? The item that is T for now, because I don't know what we're going to accept. I'm gonna mark it as T here. So I'm gonna make it inferred, okay? So whatever we are receiving, the item here will be list of T's, okay? Yeah, so just to make it inferred. Should I do this? Oh yeah. So then we need to pass the T over here. Okay, looking good. So, and then the T that we are passing is, we already know what this one is. Cannot find name items. Yeah, so we pass over here. Then it's saying the T is not assignable to unique identifier, ID, blah, 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 right? So what it means, we need to extend, okay? So what I would do is I'll be extending those, okay? So T extends that. Yeah. So once we extends, it'll be a little bit easier. Oh, sorry, I think we need to extend it here. Sorry, my bad. T extends here. Yeah, so then looking good, right? The error is gone now, right? So the T must include something that is ID, that is unique identifier, that is either string or number, okay? Looking good. And then this one on drag will return the event, which is drag end event. So when drag end, then what we're going to do, right? So in this handle drag end will be sorting the items the proper position. So the logic is all here that we can use. If you take a look, we have everything here. So if active ID and then they are not the same, find the index and then reorder, resorting the array. So that is what we're going to do here. I'm gonna just copy paste this one. Handle drag end. Maybe we can copy whole thing. Okay. So let's try to use that. Come on. Yeah. So here I'm gonna just make the type properly. Okay. So here what we're receiving is drag end event, right? And then we can destructure instead, right? Event and over, yeah, one line less. And then when they're not the same, we need to do question mark here. Then instead of setting the items, what I would do is I'll be having one function, okay? The function that we are gonna accept will be on reorder. I'm gonna send something, new order that is T array, and then it's going to be void. So we're going to pass a new order. That is our plan. So here I'm going to do, let's mark it as this. Okay, optional, but item must be existing. Okay, so here let's just try to get that. If on order existing, if not the same, and on order existing, then we're gonna do on order and then pass the necessary thing. Here what we want to do is finding the right thing. We cannot do index of because we are gonna have multiple items that include the ID inside it, right? So instead of index of, we'll be using find index, and then item has ID that is the same as either active.id or over.id. Okay, so this one will be old index and then new index later, right? So that's what's going to happen. And then at the end we want to send, that is new order. Yeah, so that is my plan. And then here we're gonna just pass the new order. That's it. Let's try to use it and then see what's gonna happen. Okay, maybe I'm gonna have some UL tag here because we're gonna use it as list, and then this one sortable item should be li tag. Okay, looking good. And then we're gonna fix over time. Let's try it. So we have gallery grid section right here that we just created in the previous video. This guy, I want to be able to make it reorderable. Okay, so to do that, instead of UL tag here, what I would do is the sortable list, get it, and then I'll be wrapping it. Here we need to pass items, which is section items here. So items, that is section items, looking good. And then we're gonna map it. So this one includes already UL tag, right? So the UL tag that I have here. So rather I'm gonna accept the class name. So class name, then let's accept the class name here too. Class name, that is a string, optional. So the class name we are accepting will be going in straight in here. Okay, come on. Okay, let's reorder a little bit here. Sorry, I think I the wrong symbol. Okay, so looking good. So then we can style it differently, right? So here we are going to just pass the class name directly here, and then remove the UL tag. And then this li tag also, we don't need it because we have sortable item that has li tag, right? So let's just take a look. We don't have the class name, so we can just put it here. Yeah, let's import, come on. Yeah, we need to pass the ID. Children, we don't need to worry. Yeah. ID, we need to pass it. So here ID will be item.id. So here let's just try to do that, item.id. Okay, so looking good. Let's take a look how it's looking. Okay, so I don't know, it could be working, it could not be. Oh, look at that, it's already working, right? But the thing is, resorting is not saved properly, right? That is because we're not handling it, right? So once we have on reorder, then we're gonna get the new sorted order that we can get, right? You can have a state But instead of state, I'll be considering using the use optimistics hook. Okay, so use optimistics hook. So here, use optimistic is going to accept initial states, that is section items, and then we're going to accept the reducer. The reducer will be accepting as a parameter state and action. Okay, but here I'm going to make it as simple as possible. What it's going to return will be just the action that we are, that is equivalent to state. So we need to give some generic type here just to make it make sense. It will be exactly the same as here. So the state type will be section item with the all in the array, and then action type will be exactly the same, section item with all. Awesome. So that's all I need, right? So then what it's returning will be, optimistic items, which is the state that we're passing here. And then here will be the action. So I'm gonna say action. So then instead of rendering the items, we're gonna render the optimistic items. Yeah, that's good. And then when reorder happens, the action that we are getting will be the new state, that is new order. So we're gonna create one handler called handle reorder. Okay, handle reorder, and then we're gonna call the action. What this guy is receiving will be new order, that is exactly the same as the optimistic state. Okay, yeah, looking good. It's going to be inferred anyway, so we don't need to worry too much here. So what we're going to do in this reorder handler, so call the action and server action to update the record. So we're gonna do both. I can just do start the transition. It's not gonna work by itself. So take a look. Yeah, no error, but nothing happened. I already updated the optimistic state with the action, but the problem is we needed to have server action called together. We should have the update, maybe reorder section items. We already have it. It's just a new order. So this server action is reordering indexes. So it's already doing the job. So I'm gonna just save it and then see what's gonna happen. Okay. So take a look. Oh, nice. I'm gonna have the data and the message. Oops, I need to await it. Sorry, my bad. Wait, then what it means I need to async. So if data existing, I'm gonna send a toast success message. So let's try. Nice. Awesome. So then reordering is done. Yeah, nothing special. But the problem is we lost the power to delete and edit the image. I cannot make it active state anymore. Yeah, weird, right? I cannot see the buttons here. This whole thing is currently draggable, but I am going to create just small icon that is for dragging only. Because if the whole thing is draggable, the whatever inside the event will not work properly. If you look at the code base carefully, there should be, let me just remove things that we don't need here. Yeah, so we have a sortable that has some handlers, listeners going on. This listener preventing the nested elements working. So as an alternative, if you look at the documentation, we can have listener attached to another button. So this button is the one that allow user to drag it. So our children will be sibling of this button later. That is what I do. So we're gonna have this button like this, okay? So what I would do is I'm gonna copy this one and then paste it over here. This set activator node ref is coming from this hook, okay? Yeah, so looking good. And then let's move these guys here. So here, if we have this one, take a look what's going to happen first, right? So we have drag here, right? So you needed to drag it like that, right? Yeah, so that's how it's working. But what I'm going to do is making this guy as absolute, okay? So to do that, I'm gonna have class name here, the class name, and then this one will be relative. And then here, this button will be class name. I'm gonna say absolute top 0, and the left maybe negative, maybe 8. Let's take a look. So somewhat I cannot still activate it. That is because I have listener right here. So if I remove the listener, take a look. Now I can do control, right? And then I can also do draggable, right? Yeah, so everything is working beautiful, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna swap it to icon. So let's go to Lucid icon. If you go to icon, hopefully I can find some nice one. Some grip related, grip. Yeah, this one is good. Maybe I'm gonna use this guy. So here, let's try to use this one. Let's take a look. Yeah, this one is better, I will say. But the gap is kind of not good, right? Let me just try to make it maybe 6. Yeah, this one is good. What I would do is making this icon to be visible only when this section is hovered, okay? So to do that, I'm gonna have some group here. Group that is drag, I will say, drag. And then when group is hovered, that is specific for drag, then I'm gonna make it visible. Initially, this one will be invisible, okay? So let's check one more. Yeah, only when it's hovered, we can see that. But it's disappearing, right? So what I would do is giving additional one. So when it's active, while user is pressing down the mouse, then I'm gonna do make it visible as well. So let me try. Yeah, now it's persisting, right? Looking good. Yeah, so I like it. And then if you want to just to make it a little bit more fun, you can have one div tag, and then you can make a rotation too. So class name, and there should be some attribute that we can use. Is it active? Is it dragging? Yeah, we can use this one maybe. So when is dragging, we can also give styles too, right? So here I'm gonna give CN. If is dragging, then I'm gonna rotate a little bit. Maybe rotate, maybe 2. Let's take a look. Oh, look. I can grab it like that. Right? Yeah, so you can make the styling different, right? So when it's dragging, then you can scale to, right? Scale maybe 105%. Let's see. Yeah, 105% is good. Yeah. Yeah, so this one is good. You can like making it bigger to look like it's lifted up, right? Yeah, good. Yeah, so I like it. So yeah, and then let's give just a minor styling to finish, right? Here, I'll be moving to -7. Let's increase a little bit more. And I'm gonna give cursor, grep. Oh, it disappeared. Uh, I guess I need to have some padding to be visible, right? Padding issue, I guess. Maybe we can give some, instead of this, it was 6, I guess. Let me just quickly check. Yeah, 7. What I would do is making the padding px to be maybe 4, 11. Yeah, I think this way is the best. And then make the padding bottom a little bit bigger too. So the padding bottom, maybe 1 rem, so that user can grab it a little bit easier, right? Yeah, so looking good. Yeah, I like it. Maybe we can add a little bit of more images. Let me just quickly check. Yeah, maybe we can add multiple. Okay, so let's try to drag. Yeah, I can drag anywhere I want. Yeah, that's it. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.